relationships, trauma, philosophy. Relationships, trauma, philosophy. Balls Deep.
Welcome to episode 32 of the Balls Deep podcast.
Welcome.
We're
excited to be here as always.
We're excited to be here as always.
But where is here, Scott? You're just going to repeat everything I say.
Are you just going to repeat everything I say?
Well. The listener's going to hate this.
The listener's going to hate this.
Stop it.
Just stop it. That's what we're going to do for the rest of this episode, is just repeat each other. And we're going to say the same place at the same time, not even with a countdown. Oman. There's no countdown, no planning there. Go us. But we're in Oman, and we'll tell you our first impressions of Oman in Shelby's created segment that has been a mainstay since probably episode like 6 or something.
Yeah.
It's a great segment. So do stick around for that. Spoiler, it's great. But we'll tell you about it. It might not be. You never know.
There you go.
We might not agree on it, but we have a bunch we want to chat to you about today. Some complaints, some good things about the month of January that goes on every year. And I think, with January, there's something called Veganuary that you may or may not have heard of. By now it's very well known because I wrote a blog on it, and I know. Shelby wrote the blog, but that is the art of having someone else,
I'm your ghostwriter, baby.
Your ghostwriter, that is it. Yeah, you're my ghostwriter. I do write my blogs, but this one, Shelby had a certain set of skills that were well prepared for a Veganuary blog post.
Yes. So, as I've probably mentioned quite a few times, I'm a vegan. I feel like it's a bit like, we're in an Islamic country, so I feel like I can liken it to how in Islamic faith, one of the pillars of Islam is to announce your faith. Like, it's really important for Muslims to be like, hey, I'm a Muslim. Did you know that?
What?
So part of being a Muslim, there's like I think, I should know this, I've taught Ari, but like I think it's the 5 pillars of Islam. One of the pillars, like the most important things about, of course, following Allah and everything, but like one of the pillars of Islam is that you must announce your faith. Like, you must tell people that you are a Muslim. Maybe I've totally missed the mark on that.
Oh, right.
But I was trying to make a light-hearted comparison with, every vegan tells you that they're a vegan. So like...
Right, okay. So what you're trying to say is being a vegan is just as important as the religion of a Muslim. Or the Islamic faith.
Well, you see, and I know that you're trying to dismiss that. It actually is a protected ethical belief system. Much like a religion is a belief system. Yeah, it is. It's illegal to discriminate against someone for being vegan to the same capacity that it is to discriminate someone because of their religion.
Is that the same for vegetarianism, or is it specifically?
Yeah, it's a protected.
Is it?
It's a protected ethical framework. Yeah.
Is that the same? So is that the same for any diet, like a carnivore, or pescatarian?
No, because it's not based on. So it's not the diet; it's the vegan belief system. If you see what I mean.
Okay.
So it's like, it's not just, I don't like eating meat and I don't like eating eggs. So it's not that. It's like it's that belief that it's morally, it's a moral belief system, basically, that it's morally impermissible to harm animals as far as is practically possible, is to the letter. So yeah,
wow.
It's illegal to discriminate against vegans. So all you people out there that hate vegans, and I know there's plenty of you. I know you're listening. I know some of you are listening. Why do you hate us so much? Yeah, please stop.
Yeah, I think when you actually, break it down, I think to hate someone over that, it's, you'll realise there's no fair, valid point, It's just, the main driver of it is just, it's a trend to hate vegans.
Yeah.
And then you throw loads of, nonsensical reasons to that. But if you really broke that down, on a piece of paper for 10 minutes and went, under each reason why, and then broke that down. Okay, why do I believe that reason? Why do I believe that reason? You're going to realize it's just, you're either joining the trend or you're just actually being quite stubborn.
Yeah. Well, I feel that's the case for
quite
most.
Dismissive, yeah.
Yeah. Like for most hate, like when people hate groups of people, it's based on ignorance, isn't it? Like it's like same with, hating anyone from a particular religion. Like it's just over ignorance and that, lack of, I guess, compassion for or understanding for anyone who might think differently to you. But even people like, Gordon Ramsay famously hated vegetarians. He's now like singing the praises of veganism and that it's the future and that he's got a vegan bacon recipe and everything. And like Marco Pierre White has said that plants are the future. That's what the future of cooking is going to be. It's going to be plants because we have to survive as a planet. Like people are waking up to that, like to the knowledge of that. So it's quite interesting to me that, if Gordon Ramsay can accept vegans, so can everyone, I reckon.
Yeah, well, that's a key, when you have key figures like that who have been so adamantly against that, whilst in that moment it can annoy people who don't, are a vegan at that moment, but I think it's brave to then come out and say, what, I've learnt more, I've, read more, I've discussed more, and, I want to change my position on that. And that's totally okay. I think people get a bit lost with, or feel there's a problem with changing their position. I feel like that then puts into question them as a person and their whole belief system forever. It doesn't mean you were wrong the whole of your life. Whoever you support in that moment, that's the right person for you in that moment, because based on your knowledge and what you believe in, that's the right person for you, that's the right thing for you. But we should be changed. It's okay to change your position every freaking day. If there might be in a case where it happens every day for a period of time, because you're learning new things. So I don't think it's bad.
Absolutely.
I think people are fearful of changing their position on things because it's going to affect like their integrity and what they've always preached, and they're going to feel embarrassed about that.
Absolutely. I mean, and I'll say in a minute why I think that what you just said is really crucial to how Veganuary works, but I just want to say that one of my favourite sayings is, like Maya Angelou said, do the best that you can until you know better, and when you know better, do better. And I think that's really, like what you've just said, like everyone has the beliefs that, well, it's okay to hate on vegans because it's funny to hate on vegans, or, that veganism's it's silly and it's, we need to eat meat, whatever this. Like if that's what you truly believe with the evidence that's in front of you, then of course you're going to have that opinion. But I think once people start to realise actually that's not the case, that there's valid reasons behind veganism, and important ones, then when they know that, then people tend to come around to that, to understanding that in a less hateful. But why I think Veganuary works, which is it's a movement that encourages people to go vegan for the month of January, why it's so successful is because of that, because people take it on as a challenge. Even people who like hate on vegans, like I know, like one of my uni roommates, he went vegan for Lent as like a personal challenge to himself, even though like he hunted, was a massive meat eater and everything. Like it, it's people like a challenge, even if they don't necessarily agree with the reasons behind it. But with Veganuary, when people go and follow a plant-based diet for an extended period of time, and Veganuary like gives them recipes, gives them information like statistics around like how many animals a year are killed for meat, the impact of meat on the environment, the impact of meat on your health, all these kinds of things. It's like drip feeding bits of information to people while they're going through the process of trying this vegan lifestyle. Then when it gets to the end of the month, people tend to stick to it because now they've got a month's distance between how they used to think and how they think now, and they can really separate themselves from that, how they believed before. So like it's less of a guilt, it's not thinking, well, I need to, I can't accept that that's true, that veganism should be right because I'm not a vegan right now. So, I have to be against veganism to prove that my way is right. But once they've had a month of following that lifestyle, then it allows them that distance to be like, oh yeah, I used to do this thing, but I'm not doing it anymore. And I feel like this is the correct way to go about things.
Exactly.
I'm hoping that was clear.
I think it's very clear. I don't think there's much I can add to that then. It's very clear.
Yeah. So go Veganuary. I actually volunteered with them during my masters when they were a fledgling organisation. And now there's 25 million people partook in Veganuary last year, and that number's only expected to be higher this year. So that's incredible from my point of view. And I could go off on some statistics, but you have to check out our TikTok.
Well, hit them with some statistics.
Okay, why not? So this year, 2025, in the UK, it's anticipated that 50% of Gen Z will follow a plant-based diet. I think it was 35% of millennials, so that's, mine and Scott's generation, will also follow a plant-based diet. But only 10% of baby boomers. So, I mean, if that's not just an obvious example of that veganism is the future, I don't know what is. Like, literally, to go from 10% from one generation to 35 to the next, to 50 in the next. I mean, maybe Gen Alpha will totally be vegan in a few years' time.
Yeah, it just shows you, you've got to, it's like with anything in life, any job, following the numbers really is the truth. You can't do anything in life without some reporting metric, and that's going to involve numbers. And if you're looking at them, you're going to see, how to improve upon yourself in every facet of life, whether that's work, whether it's fitness, whether it's, even, well, maybe I won't go as far as saying relationships, but you could put numbers to them. You could.
What's that film with Ben Stiller? Is it? It's The Long Came Polly, I think, isn't it? Where he's a risk analyst. Is that the right word? I
think so. I can't think of what went on in that film, but yeah.
Oh, it's great. So he's all like numbers, and he goes to companies and does risk assessments, and he's like, he'll put in all the negatives, all the positives, and he'll give them like a score for how risky whatever it is. And he meets this girl, Polly, who's like reckless, Ben Affleck and Jennifer Aniston. It's a good film. And she's quite free-spirited. She will eat at the food truck. He won't because it's too risky. She's like, so what if you get food poisoning? It's good food. Like, so she's the total opposite of him. But he spoiler alert, he puts in like things about her into his like algorithm to try and figure out how risky she is. So yeah, I won't say how it ends. But you can imagine how well that went down with her.
Oh, I'm sure she was over the moon. I've watched that film for sure. I just don't remember that element of it.
Yeah.
But I never have a good memory of films. What was that film that you convinced me you were like, you've watched it, and I was adamant.
You've totally seen it. What's your number?
What's your number? Did we rewatch it?
We did rewatch it.
We rewatched it, and I remembered none of it. And apparently I watched it less than 2 weeks before.
I think it was a bit longer ago than that. We watched it in Manchester.
It wasn't like a year before. It was like months.
It was a short period of time.
Short period of time. And I remember, I just said I haven't, don't I? But
you also didn't remember watching Awake, the film where no one can sleep. And we watched that extremely recently.
I don't remember watching that at all.
Well, it's quite a good film, actually.
I couldn't possibly recommend it. I don't know. Maybe we need to look into that. Maybe I think I'm overloaded with just life at the moment, to be honest. I'm just forgetting. But then again, you're always telling me I have a good memory, which baffles my mind.
Like, you remember... Like, I feel like your long-term memories... I don't know if it's long-term or short-term, but you remember certain stuff really well that I just don't remember.
I think that we both have crap memories, but we just have memories that are specific. So you're specific to celebrity knowledge.
Yeah, and phone numbers and license plates.
And phone numbers, like anything with numbers. And Shelby knows everything in the news, but nothing more than a headline. So she'll tell you everything going on, but if you ask one follow-up question, that's game over.
So I think I've got a broad memory. And I think
I don't know. Your
deep
celebrity,
memory.
your celebrity memory's bloody brilliant. I could ask you like the most random thing, like who did Justin Bieber go out with 10 years ago, and you'll be like, oh, it was her, and she was
Selena
this
Gomez.
actor. Oh, look, see what I mean? Selena Gomez, and you could tell me the film she was in and everything. Honestly,
Wizards of Waverly Place.
there we go. I don't know.
think.
I don't even know that. I didn't, And with me, I'm just.
She's now engaged to a chef.
See, how do you even know that? I haven't even heard of her name in so long. Like, it's wild. And then I just remember, like, I don't know why I remember specifically, but I remember really specific things. So, like, we were watching a film that started off in Bangkok, which we've been to. It's The Night Agent. We're on season 2. We recommend it. It's a fun show. And
Netflix.
Netflix. It's not one of those silly long shows. We love. As we all do, we love getting into a TV show, but we're sick of these 6 seasons, 12 episodes, 12 hours. It's just, we don't have time for it. So we stick to the 1 season, 2 seasoner, 10 episodes, that's fine. Quick, fun stories. Enough can be told in 2 seasons. You don't need 6 seasons. I've enjoyed some 6 seasoners, but in this time of my life, I don't have time for it. Mm-hmm. And nor do you. So Night Agent is a nice one. That's 2 seasons. But Bangkok, they're in Bangkok and in the exact place in which we had been. And I remembered how in that place, it's actually quite confusing because you can only leave that place from a boat, and just basically the whole, even though you buy a ticket for the day, it's not quite straightforward on which boat, because there's a load of different boats to get, and the boats only go to certain other places and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, it was confusing. And this guy with this family basically faced the same problem as we did, but we were able to figure out, and he wasn't, and he freaked out and stormed off in anger, whilst the mum and children were like flustered behind him, like, what are we doing? To be fair, I saw that and be like, I could see myself being like that in that situation.
Yeah.
I could, the angry dad trying to figure it out, just storming off, like, oh, I've got to go this way. And then the mum trying to bring the kids together, like, worried, like, oh, no, follow him. I hope I'm not like that, but I think I am like that. But
you're not like that. We won't be like that.
But I think that was quite a boring tangent, actually. But anyway, let's move on. Travel insurance. Fuck it.
Yeah.
It's annoying.
It's really difficult to find travel insurance that works when you are traveling for more than a month.
It's infuriating. Basically, you have to spend close to $1,000 for a year's remote insurance.
Yeah.
That's the reality of it.
Yeah.
It's about between £600 to £1,000 if you want insurance to leave the UK for an entire year and never come back, for have any amount of days anywhere. That's how much you got to pay, which is just astronomical.
It's wild. So they require, a lot of them require that you return to your starting
your
point.
home country, yeah.
So your trip needs to start and end in the UK, and that doesn't mean that you can't go to Spain, then Italy, then France, and then home. Totally fine if it's within the amount of days, but you need to have your return flight to the UK booked. They need to know that you're going to be returning to the UK. I will say, touch wood, I did have to use mine in Indonesia last year, and I was within the 30 days of my insurance, but I didn't have my return flight home, and my insurance did ask for that, and I was like, well, I don't have that. But I think because the doctor surgery that I went to liaised with the insurance agency, and they agreed, yes, we will provide this care to you. I think maybe that's why they haven't, that they allowed it, maybe. Because, a verbal agreement had been made between them before they'd fact-checked that I got my flight home. That's my only assumption, that it was pure luck.
I was surprised that because insurance companies are, as expected, they're to the book because they just want to take all your money.
Yeah. So,
you see it with the LA crisis at the moment. There's tons of insurance companies go, we need a photo to prove that your house is burnt down.
Just look on the map where it is.
And they're like, what? So obviously they're infuriated. So the government has had to literally set up a process where teams are going round taking photos of houses and then uploading them to a system and allowing people to basically download these images so that they can use. And all these insurance companies are just putting loads of barriers up. Like, that's just one of them. Barriers up to paying out all these insurance because all of a sudden everyone's asking for it.
Yeah, well, it's tough shit, isn't it? Like, don't work in insurance then if you're not going to...
To be honest, I think, and I know someone in insurance will slap me for this, but I think for a lot of things, insurance is a scam.
It is.
I think it's a scam.
You're paying for something that you hope never happens.
Yeah, and when it does happen, it's an absolute nightmare to get it sorted. I don't know how... I mean, car insurance is the one that infuriates me most. Most people are not going to crash. Yet you have to pay astronomical numbers.
Yeah.
You know.
Kaylee's friend told me that she pays something like $2,000 a year in insurance.
I don't get
Why
how...
are you doing
if
that?
you're... And how long has she been driving?
Like, forever.
Well,
She's older than me and she's been driving since she was 17, so...
Yeah, so she's... I don't know what deal she's found to be paying that. Unless she's driving in a Ferrari or something.
Well, she has got a... Wait, which car is it now? A BMW, I think. But still, it's like...
Even that, like, with that level of experience, like, that just sounds crazy.
Yeah.
But I think it's unfair. I think there must be a better system to... this. But... yeah, it's crazy. But yes, it was difficult finding insurance. I mean, we've got one at the moment and fingers crossed it works out.
So we managed to find one that works for us anyway.
Yeah, one that works for us. Some exciting news. Shelby visited a whorehouse. She went, you know what, Scott? You're not providing enough to me. And she said, I need more. I need bigger.
More?
And she went off and she came back and she was a new woman.
Behave.
You were a new... Even your hair was done.
My hair was done.
I was like, wow.
So, to clarify, it was a man, actually.
Wow. Well, if it was opposite, that would have really opened some doors for me.
No, so basically, in our accommodation in Dubai, there was a salon. But it was like... somewhere else that we've been that was like this, where they were confused why we wanted them to provide whatever service they provided. I can't...
Yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
Yesterday. That was...
See how bad my memory is. It was literally yesterday.
Yesterday, we were in a restaurant, and it was a really odd setup. It was in a hotel, and you went up to the top floor of the hotel, and the front desk was like a cafe. Mm-hmm. Like they only had coffee machines, a couple of drinks, and they just looked like baristas. Mm-hmm. And then the waiters, they seemed like two separate teams, to be honest.
They seemed like two different companies because they were confused when we went in if we'd ordered or not. I was like, I've just arrived. You saw me walk through the door. Yeah,
and what's even crazier is the kitchen is on the bottom floor, so the waiter goes up like a crazy flight of steps all night to bring like massive trays of food. It was and then we went down to pay. We had to go all the way down to reception and then go to this random little corner of the hotel where it was just one of the waiters sat at like this desk that you could just pulled up against the door, and he said, that'd be whatever it was. So
you had to pay for your coffee upstairs.
Yeah, you had to pay. I think they were two separate companies. It was a weird setup.
It was because when we asked them for like ketchup, and he was like, well, I'll ask him to go down and get something. I was like, okay then. And like when we asked for the drinks, they were like, okay, you want your drink? Like, yeah, we want the drinks. Like,
they were so incapable. Like, all they have to say to deal with that is go, just to make it clear to you, we're like a separate entity. This is the cafe element, this is the restaurant, so they run all the drinks, food and everything. I'll take your orders, I can do coffees here, blah blah blah, but the drinks come in the meal. All they did, if they did that, then you go, okay, I understand the system now.
Yeah.
But because they never did that, we were just baffled by them, because we would be like, well, it's been 15 minutes and we don't even have a water yet that we've requested.
Yeah.
And we've been up twice to ask them, and they've just been bemused by that request.
Yeah.
And they were both just standing. One was listening to music and one was just sitting down. And we were facing them. Our actual table faced them. So we saw what they did the entire time we were there. And the only thing they did, because we wanted them to at the end, is because we thought maybe they're baristas, is we'd requested a coffee so they had to work.
Yeah, and it looked like I couldn't have it, but it looked like a very nice coffee. It was beautifully presented.
Yeah, I'm not. It's like Omani coffee's interesting. It's quite different. It's like if you like really black coffee, you'll really like Omani coffee.
It's quite strong.
Yeah, it's strong.
Nice.
It also got a different type of taste to it. It's nice, but it's for the black coffee drinkers.
Interesting. Okay, so it's quite intense.
Yeah, it's quite intense.
Okay, cool. Well, so similar to that experience where you walk in a place and it seems like they don't know why you're there. I texted the salon in our hotel in Dubai and I was like, how much is it for a woman's haircut, wet cut and blow dry? And I got the response for however much it was. It was something really cheap. It was something like 50 or 60 dirhams. It's like a tenner basically. And
at home that'd be like £80. What, like £68?
Well, no, just for a wet cut and blow dry, probably more like 40.
40. So 4 times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then she asked me for a pic. She said, "How long's your hair?" So I sent her a photo of myself, and then so she told me the price. We agreed on a time. I was like, "Great." So then I went in at 10 o'clock the next morning when I booked it for. I walked in, and they were like, "Oh, you should have contacted me. I don't have a hairdresser in today." And I was like, "I did. I texted you last night." And then she shouts in this other woman who's called Sweetie, who I text, because there was like 3 phone numbers on this flyer that they gave me. So they got Sweetie, and then she's like, yeah. And then she's like, "Oh yeah, no, it's not for a haircut, it's just for a blow dry." I was like, "No, it's for a haircut." And then she was like, "Well, he only does men's haircut." And I was like, "I've got a text here, I sent you a photo of me and like we had women's haircut." And she's like, okay, he'll be here in 10 minutes. So I was like, right, okay. So anyway, so he shows up in 10 minutes. And then it was a whole, he was great. Like, he was very straightforward. So yeah, basically I wanted a wet cut and blow dry. And they even did like a hair spa for me, like where they put some oil on it and stuff and put the big heater around my head. But the haircut itself, so just for the cut, it was 10 dirhams.
Jesus.
So it's like, is that £2?
Yeah, that's like
£2 or £3.
It's like £2.50. Yeah.
So it was just like for washing it, for the spa and for the
wow.
blow dry and stuff was an extra like £10, that is. But yeah, it was very bizarre. And then another time I went in for a massage, and again, it was like, she was hi, I asked for a facial. She was like, "Well, the regular facial is just a face wash." And I was like, "I don't really want you to wash my face. Like, that's not why I'm here." And it wasn't much more for a full body massage for an hour. I was like, "Great, I'll do that." Okay, massage, come here, like to one worker. And then she was like, "Oh, right, okay." And then she spoke to someone else, massage. And then eventually, after like a chain of, it's a massage, like a woman came through and she looked at me and I was like, "Hello." And then, so she took me into this side room, which was filthy. They didn't dim the lights, didn't put any music or anything. I get undressed. I'm laying on the table after this woman who seemed like she was busy and wasn't there to give me a massage, but she was lovely. Anyway, the massage starts 5 minutes in. The owner, who previously told me that I should have texted for a haircut on a different day, and then like was telling me that a facial is just a face wash. She came in, she was like, "Are you paying cash or card?" And I was like, "Card." She's like, "Well, my card machine doesn't work." And I was like, "Well, I don't have any cash, so what do we do in this situation?" She was like, "Well, I can take your card and I'll go and pay with a different shop next door." I was like, "Well, you're not taking my card, so I guess I'll come with you." So I had to get dressed.
That's ridiculous.
I'm covered in oil.
Oh my god!
Like, so it wasn't even like a little bit. She was like pumping loads and loads and loads of it. It was like being covered in baby oil. And so I went out and paid. The guy was really nice. He took my payment. But then I went in, and then as I'm getting undressed again, Sweetie, the blooming one who I'd been texting about the haircut a couple of days before, she came in and she was like just giving me this really creepy smile. She's like, "Hiya." I was like, "Hello." She went, "Yes, I'm good." I was like, didn't ask. But okay, glad to hear it. And she's like, "She's my customer." And like in a really weird, but like in a really, "She's my customer," in like a really weird way. Anyway, I'm convinced this is a whole affront for a brothel.
A brothel.
Because, and I'll show you their website, like it showed like the really suggestive pictures of all the staff, and like it all says about, like beautiful women work here and stuff. So I think it's a front, because they all seem confused that I wanted the services off the beauty menu, and it's very cheap.
It was very cheap, yeah. Yeah, The crazy thing is we've both not just been in there, but we've been through to the back of it because we parked in their car park.
Yeah.
So we've seen now. I mean, we even walked into the closet room. We looked like we were going to rob the place at one point because we had parked in what we believed was the hotel car parking space, which was really confusing. No one could direct us to it, and even requesting where it was baffling the reception. Why? I don't know. A lot of people were being baffled by simple questions, weren't they? Which I was just confused by. But we had accidentally parked in apparently the delivery area, which no one told us, which was at the back of this hairdressers. So we went through the hairdressers, didn't we?
Yeah.
But we couldn't figure out. It was like the door to go out was like...
It looked like the wall, didn't it?
It looked like the wall because they'd like printed over it. So we just walked into basically the closet. And then the woman working in there who didn't realise the reason why we were in there was like, what are you doing? Like, are you... Like, she looked pretty frightened as if like, oh shit, this might be about to go down. And we're like, we're just trying to get out of here.
Yeah, don't open too many doors, please.
Exactly. So imagine if we opened that and we just saw things going on like... That would have kind of been great, as then it would have just, clarified things.
Yeah.
But I don't know, like, where would it have happened? But I guess there wasn't. I think there was.
It's in a hotel, so I mean, what's stopping them from having a room within there?
That's true. It just seems like a wild thing for a hotel to allow to go on, because they're not like next to it, like you can actually access it from the hotel reception.
Well, that's the main access.
Yeah. So you can just. Yeah, it's the main entrance. It's so. I just think that'd be a very daring thing for a hotel to do. But
It would, but I mean, you told me recently about somebody who partook in a few prostitutes in Dubai. So
I know.
Not
Yeah,
names, obviously.
I won't name names, but I know someone who basically Dubai. There's a lot of hidden things to it that you won't suspect. So if you think you're gonna go to Dubai and get arrested, you're not. Okay, as long as you just like anywhere in traveling, you just need basic common sense. There are some additional things to common sense for certain areas, yes, but 95% of the time it's common sense. And Dubai, everyone's super lovely and you're going to be fine, but don't let that fool you thinking there's not, naughty things like we have in the UK. I don't know about the drug scene. Wasn't able to get any intelligence on that. But I can tell you right now, I've heard many stories of the prostitute scene is big in Dubai. Yeah. I've heard many stories. Yeah, the prostitute scene is very big, and so it having what you're proposing a brothel is, I could believe it. Yeah, definitely, because I've heard enough stories to believe it. So it's interesting, and you can get alcohol quite easily in Dubai. It's not in the restaurants or the hotel bars. Yes, so if you want to get alcohol quickly, hotel will always have it. Outside a hotel, you're not really going to find it unless it's a club. Outside of that, there's a lot of off licenses, but you need to know where they are. They don't advertise, so an off license will be like. It'll be completely shaded out, so you won't even know it's there. There could be 5 not far from you, and you won't know about it. If you just type off license into maps, it just shows you. And within them, there's loads of Indian guys. The Indians love to drink alcohol. We've learned, because when I went into one, it was just all Indian people buying alcohol, like so much as well. Like not like one crate, like 3 crates for one person. Like, why do you even need that much? But I'm not saying that as a bad thing. People.
Well, yeah, it'd be full of Brits as well, probably, wouldn't it? There's just not as many
people like
British
naughty
people
things, don't they? And I think that's okay. We all explore things in life, and find happiness. Everyone finds happiness in different areas, don't they?
They do. That is very true.
For me, as long as it's not, I guess, impacting someone, that is not consenting to, or impacting people around them in a negative way, then I don't think it's of harm. Because as much as you might hate on the prostitution, yes, okay, there's a whole debate that you can debate. There's a large percentage of people in prostitution not wanting to do it, but there's also a big percentage that do want to do it.
Well, the thing is, I think, you know, I mean, this is a whole other debate that we probably don't have time for right now, but there's an argument to be made that if you legalise prostitution, then it's protecting the sex workers.
Yeah,
Like,
I
if
think
you-
that's the same case for drugs.
If you legalise it, tax it, then, you know, people are less likely to be coerced into doing it, I would say. But anyway, I think we're close to running out of time, darling, so I think we should wrap up with our travel segment. What do you think?
Yes, and we do have even more to talk about in this episode, but we'll carry it on the next episode. So, favourite thing about first impressions of Oman, even as we did favourite and least favourite of Dubai. First impressions of Oman for me is that everyone is lovely, a kindness to a very nice level. So everyone is like super supportive, wants to speak to you, but also doesn't want to get in your business, because sometimes you can go to countries and they want to speak to you because they want to get involved in your business and they want to know everything about you. But here it's just a very quick, hello, how are you? Where are you from? I hope you have a nice day. Here's a recommendation. Bye-bye.
This is how you park here. We've had help with that.
Yeah, it's just like some pleasantries, maybe some advice. Like when that's there, they're not like hanging around you or keep looking at you. It's just like, yeah, I like that here. And it's something that I'm not used to, is everyone acknowledges each other. At home, if I don't know you, you have your head down and you don't eyeball people, you don't nod to people. Here, if we walk out and we just go to the takeaway, anyone we pass, most of them are like looking at us just to acknowledge us, say, oh, hello, hello. And for me, I found that odd. Like, it's lovely. It's similar to Burning Man. People like will like acknowledge you're passing them, but oh, hello, you know. But in the UK, we don't do that. So I've been like, Nizwa thought I really experienced this was like, it was a combination of like when I was passing people, putting my head down, not really acknowledging, and then me going, oh wait, no, I shouldn't, and then I'm just about to put the head down, and then it's sort of this sort of trying to acknowledge them. But then other times I'll go, no, I'm going to acknowledge them and I keep eye contact. It's nice.
Yeah.
But it's an odd thing for me to learn, but it's good. It's a lovely thing. So that's my first impressions of Oman.
Very nice. Well, I'd say the first thing that I noticed in Oman was, I mean, of course, I agree with everything that you just said, Scott, but palm trees. There's so many palm trees, and that is totally not what I was expecting. Like, you know, you think of Oman, at least I just thought desert. I thought it's going to be very middle of nowhere-y. It's going to be, just very dry, sort of, desert. So to see loads of palm trees, which we've learned is because of their like ancient irrigation systems, that is like, you know, making sure that water gets to the communities. That's why there's so many palm trees, just because, well, that's partly it, and because they love dates. So they are date palms, which we didn't realise that there were different types of palm tree. So that's quite exciting to know that all the dates that we've had have been from the beautiful palm trees in Oman. So, yeah, first thing I noticed was how many there are.
And it looks like an oasis. It really does. Like, I know.
Maybe.
What? What did you say?
I said maybe.
Maybe. Oh, I thought you were trying to mug me off. I was like, that's a huge like. Oh yeah, Shelby's
gonna be the one that saves me. Sorry.
There's a joke for the listeners. But yeah, it's like an oasis because you know, I remember learning I swear it's like a story that I learned in school. You know, like where this person's, you know, stranded in the desert and you know, they're trying to find the promised land, and eventually they find this pool of water, and then it's all these palm trees, and that's what it is in this desert of nothing. It's just, if once you're in it, it's just a bunch of palm trees, all the water. It just feels like an oasis, like a paradise. It
really does.
It's an interesting thing to see with the eyes, to see that stark difference of nothing to boom, life. In this nothing. With the palm trees really bring it together. It feels surreal.
Absolutely.
Like I almost didn't sort of acknowledge it existed until I saw it.
You almost didn't acknowledge it existed.
Yeah.
How do you mean?
Well, you can be told things in life, but sometimes you've got to see them for it to become real.
Ah, okay, yeah.
Like,
Right.
I don't think things can be truly real in someone's head until you've seen a glimpse of it.
Mm.
And that probably could lead on to a great AI conversation, but
Oh,
we
yeah,
won't
we're
get
supposed to
into
talk
that.
about AI today, won't we?
No, we won't, because we're already 10 minutes over, so we'll leave it there. But yeah, that's anyone my beliefs is that, you know, I think for me at least, I'm a very visual, hands-on person. If I can't, you know, you can describe in 101 ways for me, but until I really feel, I can feel it, touch it, see it, there's an element that will kind of always not exist for me. And once it does exist, if it's something I need to take action on, it's much easier for me to take action on in that moment, because now I get it. It's like I can give all the use cases of something or all the examples of why something's good. But once I see it in action, when I say, oh my God, look at this factory line.
Yeah.
I've been told the theory of it all, yeah, but this is it actually. It's something that clicks in that moment. I go, I get it. And then I think that can be like the changer. I think AI will do that to a lot of people as well. But there we go. We've gone everywhere, haven't we?
We really have.
We really have. But anyway, we thank you for taking a break from your day to get balls deep with us. Until next time, remember, stay ballsy.
Dive deep, but don't forget your snorkel.
Balls deep.